Well, hi there. It is 11:30. Holy shit! And time to show up. I'm showing up. I'm glad you showed up. I appreciate every single one of you. And do the little YouTube dance. Like, comment, subscribe, all that happy horse shit. And let's shit in the box. Oh, there's something so especially good about a cold beer when you've been working hard. Now I have been working hard during the day. Obviously, I'm not working hard at 11 o'clock at night. I was chopping down blackberries and trying to figure out what we're going to do about this green gauge plum tree that's trying to fall off of the hill. I just need to drive a stake and tie it up. I think is the only thing that we need to do there. But regardless, I have been seeing a lot of people complaining about the layoffs in the game industry. And there's a thing that's going on in the game industry right now that that's kind of our fault. We have been demanding for a long time that game studios number one, put an end to crunch mode. In other words, don't make your people do so much work. Okay, all right, that's fine. And we also want them to be paid more. Okay, so the money to pay them more has to come from somewhere. Okay, that's just the fact of the matter. I mean, you've got a budget for a game, and you go, pay the people more. Well, the money has to come from somewhere. It has to come out of something. It has to come from some place that you were spending money that you're not going to spend money anymore. Nobody seems to get this. They go, there's an endless pile of money, and you can just, like, hand money out to people. No, that's not how it works. It's really not how it works. So you have like a whatever amount budgeted for the game, and if you're paying your people more, then something else has to come out of that budget to make room for paying the people more. And if those people are also working less, then that comes out of the game. That comes out of the game being good. That's why these people are working in crunch mode, to make the game good. And if you're going to take work out of the game game has to be shittier. There's no way around it. You can't have the same number of people doing less work on the game and still have the game be as good. It doesn't work that way. And if we're paying them more and the game is shittier, then the game is not going to make as much money. So there's not as much money to go around for bonuses and for, more importantly, for overhead salaries. And I don't know if you guys understand the concept of overhead salaries, but when you run a company, you have people that work for you, and they are working on a contract, and that contract produces a quantity of revenue. Or it has a budget, one or the other. You either have a budget for the project that you're building, or you have revenue that comes in from the contract. The work that they're doing costs a certain amount of money. And when you don't have a contract for them to work on, then you're paying their salary and they're not generating any revenue. When you don't have a project for them to work on, you're paying their salary, but you don't have a budget for their salary. That goes in what we call overhead. And overhead is everything that's not directly attributable to something that's going to bring in money. because that budget is really, that's a loan that you make yourself against the money that your project is going to make. If you're going to build an online training course and you spend $4,000 building that online training course, you spend that $4,000 because when you sell the training course, you're going to make that $4,000 back, and then you're going to make additional money. Theoretically, you would make the money that you paid for the training course, plus you would make the money to pay your salary during the time you were building it, plus you would make enough money to continue paying you until you come up with a new thing to build that you're going to spend money on. So you put all of these things together, and most people think like employees. They don't think like business owners because they've never been a business owner. I've been all of these things. I've been a contractor. I've been an employee. I've been a business owner. I've been a client of a business owner. I've been just like everything all through here, and I've assisted people in all of these capacities. I've consulted for business owners and for contractors and for people that are seeking clients and people that are seeking customers. And I understand how all this works. The issue that we're running into in the games industry right now is nobody wants to pay for somebody to be on overhead because they're expensive. In order to get that higher salary while you're on the project, you don't get to make salary when you're off the project. We're not going to keep you on when you're overhead. We're just going to drop you off the side of the cliff. We're going to take the entire team. We're going to go, great job, we shipped the game. You're all fired. Because you're expensive. And we don't have a budget for you anymore. But what about the revenue from the game? You see, the budget for the game came from investors. And those investors said, we're going to invest, say, $85 million in your game, but we expect to be paid $300 million after the game ships. So the first $300 million after the game ships, well, all of that goes to the investors. Nobody gets anything. We don't have cash flow to pay you out of. And on top of that, nobody in the office is getting bonuses either. Everybody goes, they're using it to pad executive salaries. Really not. Executive salaries tend to stay pretty much the same. Now, when you're talking about a big company, and the company is shipping games that make hundreds of millions of dollars, they throw a lot of money around, and the people who are in charge of stuff do tend to go, okay, well, I'm going to give me a whole bunch of money. But in the real world of real people running businesses, because we have thousands of businesses out there that are running on big company rules, all right? But in the average year, 2 million businesses are started in the United States. 2 million. Now, in 5 years, half of them will be gone, but the 2 million businesses that start today, half of them are going to disappear, or that start this year. The 2 million businesses that start this year, 1 million of those are disappearing, and in 5 years, only 1 million of them will be left. In fact, 5 years from today, half of the businesses in existence in the United States will have shut down for one reason or another. Some for perfectly reasonable reasons, and others just because they couldn't hack it, and some because they just quit. There are all kinds of reasons. It's not always failure. It's not always something went wrong or something terrible was done to them. It's just the natural state of doing business. Basically, every 5 years, half of the businesses in the United States close. But since we have 2 million businesses a year opening in the United States, that basically means we have about 10 million businesses at any given point in time. And the few thousand that are traded on the public stock exchanges that you hear about all the time because they're multinational businesses that make buttloads of money, those aren't business in America, let alone in the world. We have 10 million businesses. Most of them are small, and most of them are run by little mom and pop operations. And they're primarily just trying to work hard and do a good job. Most of them are like that. When you get big enough, you can do a shit job and still keep your customers because people are stupid and make bad decisions. But when you're small, you don't get to do that because they're not that stupid. That's really the thing, okay? People are stupid, but they're not that stupid. If you have 50 million customers, people are stupid enough that you will never run out of customers. If you have 50,000 customers, people are stupid enough that you'll probably do okay on customers. If you have 50 customers, people are not that stupid. If you have 50 customers and you fuck up, you will lose all of them and go broke. And ask me how I know that. I have fucked up a lot. Every business owner fucks up a lot. The whole thing is that, like, you get a certain amount of you get a certain number of runs at the brass ring, and I'm probably on my last one right now. The stuff that I'm doing right now is probably the last thing I'll be able to try, and if it doesn't work, I'm just gonna die broken alone. But yeah, that's where things are for me. That's where things are for a lot of people. Now, what a lot of people don't get, to get back to the point of the game industry, we've created this situation, and it's not a good situation. And people think that when I say, of course this is happening, this is what has to happen, they think I am excusing this behavior. When the fact is, it's counterproductive, and it's going to bite everybody in the arse. Because here's what's happening already. You notice all of these people are getting in trouble. They release a game, and the game has assets that came out of the garbage farting computer machine. Do you know why that is? It's because the guy who made those images thought he was going to go back and replace them. But before he could do it, he lost his job. And he was the only person who knew they were there. And he did it because he's a lazy motherfucker, and he was trying to do as little work as possible. He was trying to collect as much money as possible while doing as little work as possible, because that's what everybody does. Everybody's trying to screw their employer by doing less work and demanding more money. And every employer's trying to fuck you by demanding more work and trying to pay you less money. We're all exploiting each other. There's no nobility in this, okay? Everybody is trying to get paid as much as they can for doing as little work as they can, because that's the game. That's how it's played. Just like the employers are trying to pay you as little as they can for as much work as they can. That's how the game is played. Now, the problem is this kind of oppositional behavior, this fighting back and forth and constantly trying to do less and demand more, or pay less and demand more. That adversarial relationship results in worse work being done, and also, if you don't pay your people enough, not only are they not going to work hard enough for you, they're not going to be able to work hard enough for you. we live here in America, we have a society where every fucking thing on the planet costs money. When you try to pay your people less, you're literally stealing their lives from them. You're saying they can't go to the dentist, they can't go to the doctor, they can't eat good food, they can't get good exercise, they can't live in a good neighborhood, they can't have good air quality, they can't have a decent car. You're making every single thing in their life worse for the sake of having some money in your pocket. If your people are not healthy and happy, they are not going to do their best work. You need to pay them enough. You need to give them enough work, and you also need to give them security, because when you don't give them security, these people that go, I'm gonna use some bullshit AI art here in the project, and I'll go back and fix it later. They really intend to go back and fix it later, but they're also lying to themselves, because they're lying to themselves that there's going to be time to go fix it later, that they're going to have the energy to fix it later, that they'll remember to fix it later, and more importantly, that they'll still have a job to fix it later. So these people are going, this was an oversight, and that's true. The oversight was you didn't take care of your people. A lot of people really don't like the term human capital. They say human beings are not capital, but human capital doesn't mean human beings are capital. Human capital means the input to the process. All capital is just input to a process. It doesn't have to be money. It can be machine parts. It can be labor. It can be tools. It can be facilities. It's anything that you need to get shit done. The human capital of your endeavor is things that have to be done by human beings. And everything you have in your project that needs to be done by a human being, you need a human being who is healthy and happy and has the skills, experience, ability, and talent to do that work. If you don't have that person on your team, you can't do the work. This is another reason games are getting shitty. Because the people who can do the work are being told over and over again, we don't value you. We don't appreciate that you could do the work, so we're not going to keep you on when we don't have a project for you, because we figure you'll come back and work for us again, or somebody very much like you will. Senior developers are a vanishing breed right now. We're pretty thin on the ground, and on top of that, most of us don't want to work for somebody else anymore, because we know we're not appreciated, we're not valued, we're not going to be paid as befits our abilities and our experience. So why would we work for you? Why would we work for you if you're not going to treat us the way we deserve and expect to be treated? So we work as indies with varying degrees of success. Some of us spend 5 years working on a game that's nowhere near finished, and they're sitting around staring at it going, but I don't want to learn GD script, like a fucking moron. But anyway, this is going to be bad for the industry. It is already bad for the industry, because where all of this AI bullshit is coming through is because the people who actually care about their project, the people who actually care about their work, they want to do a good job, they don't want to work on these AAA projects anymore. You're losing the people who take pride in their work, and you're replacing them with people who don't fucking care. You're replacing them with liars and cheats and thieves who are going to say whatever they need to say to keep getting their paycheck. And then when they lose their job, they're just going to bugger off and get another job someplace else. And they're going to blame you for it. They're going to go on social media and they're going to say, these motherfuckers laid me off. You can't really say why. If you don't understand that, talk to a labor attorney. If you fire somebody, you can't really say why in public. And if they say they got fired for no good reason, and somebody comes to you and says, hey, did you have a good reason to fire that person? You have to go, they were laid off. They didn't get fired. They were laid off. Well, why were they laid off? I can tell you the dates they worked here, but I cannot tell you anything about their work performance. You'll hear that over and over again. That's what you get. That is a thing you learn when you check people's references, which nobody ever does. Everybody's always surprised. You're checking references? Yes, I'm checking references. Oh, well, we can tell you when he worked here, but we can't tell you anything else. Well, can you get me in touch with their manager? I can put you in touch with their legal department. Gotcha. No, that's fine. Dates they work there is fine. That's when you find people that are padding their work history. You find people that say they worked someplace for 8 months and they actually worked there for 4. And you go and you dig into, well, what were you doing those other 4 months? They said you only worked there 4 months, and you said you worked there 8 months. What were you doing? I was actually in another company. I didn't want to talk about it. Oh, okay. Sometimes you get a good answer. Sometimes you get a bad answer. Sometimes they say, oh, well, I just kind of list when I started to when I got my next job. I don't pay attention to when I left. I just pay attention to when I started. Not a great response. But the direction we're going with the game industry is the same. It's the same direction we're going with everything in the gig economy. Nobody takes pride in anything anymore. Every week, I get 3 big 40-pound boxes of cat litter delivered to the house. And that cat litter is supposed to be delivered. Let me see. I've got to have something. Okay, this will be a representation of our box of cat litter. Okay, this body deck of cards. You're supposed to deliver it like this. You're supposed to put it flat. That's what you're supposed to do. It says on the box, this end up. I keep getting it delivered like this. And every time I call and say to the delivery company, you can't deliver it like this, because there's a plastic bag in there. And when you deliver it like this, sometimes the seams on that plastic bag rupture. And I get cat litter all over my fucking porch. You got to put it like this. And every time I do that, I get it delivered like this for a while. And then this starts happening again. And you know why this starts happening again? Different driver. And do you know why there's a different driver? Because they don't fucking hire permanently. Nobody has a permanent route anymore. So you get somebody that's delivering in this area for like a month and a half. And you get him to deliver your shit right, and it gets delivered right for a month. And then you get a new guy who doesn't know how to deliver shit, and he's a fucking moron, and he does it wrong again. And that's really fucking annoying. And I keep having to call and say, hey, the guy's delivering the cat litter wrong again. He's putting the boxes up on edge again. Oh, it's a new driver. We'll talk to him. Do you train your drivers? Do your drivers know what this end up means? Do your drivers understand? Set the box on its largest surface. Is that the largest surface? Is that the largest surface? No, that's the largest surface, you fucking idiot. Flat. These people don't know how to do their fucking job. Why are these people delivering shit? They don't know how to fucking deliver shit. They don't know how to place boxes. They don't know how to stack boxes. They don't know how to carry boxes. These people are fucking idiots. I don't mean to crash out about this. Nobody knows how to do their fucking job anymore. And they don't care. They do not fucking care. Because they'll get fired at the drop of a hat. And because there's no end of work, they'll just go and get a job somewhere else. You can't check their references. Nobody's going to find out that they got shitty reviews back at the other place. They're just going to work their way through every possible place they can work until they run out of places to work. And then they're going to piss and moan and complain. Oh, there are no jobs. You burned every job you were handed. You didn't do a good fucking job. And the people who are doing a good job, it doesn't matter because it's still a fucking gig job. You're not going to get promoted. You're not going to get a pay rise. None of that's going to happen. We're treating human beings as expendable. And you can't do that. It's going to end badly. And we're headed down this road, and everybody who understands even the most rudimentary fucking economics is going, you're going to regret this. Nobody fucking listens. Nobody fucking listens. And I tell people over and over again, people keep going, well, what we need is a union. No, what you need is to quit your bullshit job and get a job that doesn't suck. I'm too tired at the end of the day to look for another job. Quit your job. You cannot negotiate with your abuser to stop abusing you. If your employer treats you like shit, quit your job. That's the only thing you can do. You cannot get a thug to sit in front of you and all your stupid little friends and say, you're not going to beat up my friends anymore. Because why does that thug work for you? Money. You guys all pay union dues because the guy's like, hey, I'm performing a service. I deserve to be compensated. Okay, well, we'll all pool our money and give it to the union guy. And the union guy goes to the boss and says, hey, your employees gave me $5,000 to demand that you pay them an additional $50,000 a month. Why don't I pay you $20,000 a month? And then you just tell them that I don't have the money. Okay. He's a fucking thug. He's a thug who works for $5,000 collected by labor workers who barely have any money. He's taking $5,000 from people who don't fucking have $5,000 and are counting on him to deliver $50,000 a month to their workforce. And instead he's going to take $20,000 and put it in his pocket and go, I'm sorry, the boss doesn't have it. The guy with more money is going to capture the dude you can hire with money. Oh, but ethics and principles. Nobody has any fucking ethics and principles anymore. Nobody has had ethics and principles for years. And do you really think that you're the lucky guy who's run into somebody with ethics and principles? If you're working for an abusive boss, quit your fucking job. That's really the only thing you can do. It's what you have to do. Unions are only good for mediocre and shitty employees anyway. If you're good at your job, you don't need one, and it's not going to help you because that's where the money comes from. The money that gets paid to the shitty employees who don't deserve to be paid what they're being paid, it comes from what you would be paid as a good employee who does their fucking job. That's why unions fucking suck. Oh, but the union was so great for my family. If the union was great for your family, your parents sucked at their fucking job. I hate to be the bearer of that news, but that's the fact. Anyway, yeah. The game industry and basically every industry is just headed at breakneck speed toward going down the toilet, and they don't fucking understand it. And I can rail about it all day long and they won't fucking listen. All I can do is sit on the side of the tracks and wait for the train wreck. It's coming. And it's coming soon. Anyway, doodly YouTube dance. Like, comment, subscribe, all that happy horse shit. Okay, bye.